one. Do you guys believe in the one?
Maybe. When I ask that question, yeah, we should record that part.
Hi everyone, welcome back to ABLAZE Chatroom. Today we have me, Sarah, and then Janice, Joy, Jody, Joshua, and Samuel. We will be talking about the one. So who is the one? Does the one exist? Let's start off with Joshua. What are your thoughts?
Alright, so I think generally, at least growing up, when you're young, you think about the one, you always think about the perfect one, right? Maybe I think from a guy perspective, you'd be like maybe the most eye-catching one, or the one who understands you the most, right? Maybe no arguments one. yeah. I think any young person will probably go through that to a certain extent. But I think, at least for myself, started growing up, I think probably not the one. And I think also, again, listening to some of pastors sharing, and also other pastors also, I think my dad used to share with me also. Maybe not exactly the one, but maybe God gives a green flag to several few people, right? And I think sometimes if you are just, I think what Pastor did share before also, right? If you are too focused on the one, then we may be blocking out the other potential you may have around. Yeah.
Yeah, I find that very true also. Because, in life, you will never find a guy that will check all of the boxes.
Yeah.
For you. Yeah.
I mean, we are human beings lah. I mean, impossible to be 100% perfect lah.
But have you guys ever met someone close to the one?
With my status also, I can go with a no lah, right? The one. Do you guys believe in the one?
Maybe. When I ask that question, yeah, we should record that part. The cover pitch. I wouldn't say that whether I have really think about the one. It never really crossed my mind. But I think as I go according to the flow, then I realized that he would check a lot of the boxes. So I think it's that is more important, because sometimes, like what Joshua said also, we are focusing and looking at the person that fulfill all the ones check box, right? But sometimes we think of it, do we actually fulfill the one check box as well? So it's like you're putting all the unnecessary stress on somebody else. I don't know. And we ourselves can't be perfect. How can we expect somebody else to be perfect? So I think along the way you will find somebody who really just can already know what you need without you telling him. That is like wonderful. So that is my sort of what God has actually put in my life. Yeah. So.
Hey guys, there's a standard there.
Yeah, sometimes it's more like without telling the standard, the person already fulfilled it. That's why he's the one. So it's not for us to go and keep on looking for it, but of course, as we pray for our future spouse, then God will actually bring along the person to, maybe the person will slowly develop to become the one also. Yeah. So it's the right timing lah. The right timing. He will bring both of us together. I think if you show us each other a few years before, maybe we won't really like each other.
Not develop it.
Yeah, and also I've changed a lot over the years, I would say. Yeah.
So actually, from all of this, when we talk about the one doesn't really have to be attractive per se lah. There's nothing that we should have, like we should not have criteria for the potential person that we'll end up meeting in the future. So it doesn't matter if he or she is like good looking or not, or like, so long as his personality is very nice to you, then that would also be great also. If he is able to satisfy whatever you want without even saying it, and like be there for you without even you setting the standard, then isn't that already better?
But I think if you ask Janice whether she finds her husband handsome or not, I think she'll say yes. What?
I would say there is definitely something you find attractive. That's why you will like stay connected with the person, right? So for me, I didn't really think about whether that's the one, but I do find you have to be attracted to somebody in order to start the relationship. For me lah. Yeah, how about the rest? What about Jody?
I find it like there's always that question whether or not the one or even like a potential date partner, I would say a potential partner, it's attractive or not. I think that's a very controversial question because it's like you can offend or you don't offend someone. That's the thing. So I was like racking my head, how do I answer this? But I think from like what I've seen, from what I've known, everybody has different standards in terms of what is attractive, right? And like even if like appearance wise, we can't help but notice appearance first. That's just how we're made to be, you know. And I think that even if there isn't, like, we can get to know each other, and I think what shines the most is their personality, making them become attractive over time, if that makes sense. Because we know that like looks will like, you know, deteriorate after a while, you know, but it's the character that stays and that leaves the impact, right? And I think like, yeah, over time they will get attractive. So I think to everyone out there, don't worry. Yeah, because like everybody has different standards of beauty and we have to appreciate that. Yeah, that's my 2 cents. What about you, Samuel?
Something to say. I think I agree with what Jenny said. At the right time and the right place, I think we all develop into something into time, right time, and continue to another pathway. I think the right time, I think, is the God's timing set for us.
And speaking of that, oh sorry.
I think we all can agree on that. Can continue. Sorry.
Then speaking about right time and right place, a lot of people have the misconception about the right time being like, you know, the Hollywood kind of style. Like, oof, I fall down, my books all drop, and then suddenly a guy picks it up, touch hand, spark, ooh, eye contact.
Hollywood or Korean drama?
There's too many Korean dramas. And some people may get mistaken that that's like the right time, and then or like the right time may be, you know, we all keep on having the misconception that like may have the misconception that be an angel may be telling us in a dream that this guy, you should marry him, that sort of thing. So maybe we should clarify that a bit, like why we should, like all of this Hollywood fantasy, this heavenly fantasy should not really be clouded with what is actually the right time, the right place. Maybe Joy, you want to say something?
Yeah, I think it can really ruin a relationship when we put that kind of standard on someone. Like you watch Brad Pitt or you watch what's that Spider-Man guy's name again?
Tom Holland.
Yeah, like you have that standard of Tom Holland, right? And you're trying to put it into a relationship. I think any guy would feel that pressure, and anybody would feel that pressure to try and fit into that fantasy when it's not even realistic, because you may be comparing it to someone that is either celebrity or fiction. I think that is to me that's a strain now, as opposed to accepting a person for their flaws and what they are, and like working together through it.
I mean, we live so many years already. How many times have we encountered such moments, right? I mean, strictly in movies.
Agreed. Now, what about Jody? What do you think about all of this?
I think there's, sorry if you can hear the motorcycle. I think there is the way Hollywood or basically the media shaped like what relationships or what the one looks like is very pretty. I'm not going to deny it. I like it, you know. When we see it, it feels good. You know, it feels good. Like there's even this like TikTok that's going around that they just cut snippets of movies of how the look of when someone's in love, and you see all of it in like one go, and then you just realize like the way how we're kind of like brainwashed over the years, like, oh, this is how like in love should, like being in love should look like, or how someone who's being in love with you should look like when they look at you. And it's really romantic. I'm not denying it. It's really nice, and it gives you that certain expectations of how, you know, your partner should treat you or how you should treat your partner as well. So I feel like there is a good and bad to it, you know. And also because I think I'm a media student, that's why I analyze the media, you know. Yeah, you know, I analyze this and I see this, and even like you see in films and books, even in anime. I don't know if you guys are like familiar with Kimi no Nawa. You know, they have all of those like red string of fate going on. You know, there's always basically the concept of red string of fate is where one person is made for one person. You know, it's made heavenly for you. You know, it's like those kind of like legends and myths that will come along, and then they'll teach and stuff like that. There's always going to be this kind of concept, you know. But we have to remember that you have to also ground yourself, because in reality of things, it's not going to be just like, there's not going to be a producer around you be like, okay, the guy's going to go here, you need to go there, and like you guys will meet, you know, and they're going to shoot you in different angles and this kind of stuff, you know. We have to remember that. And I think with Hollywood movies, Korean dramas, all this kind of stuff, it helps like paint you a picture of what can be. You know, I'm not, because like it or not, there are some people who actually go through things like that, but it's a very rare case. It's a very, very rare case. And like but then most of the time you hear stories and you're just like, okay, I need to come back down, put my head from the clouds, you know, come back, you know, there's not going to be I don't know, a really tall, handsome Lee Min Ho waiting for me at the end of the aisle or something like that, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, and a lot of youths I notice are struggling to see that because of a lot of the things that we are seeing now, you know, which I think your dog agrees with me. But yeah, I think that we need to remember you know, we need to remember that especially the young generations, when we see a lot of things like that, that things like that comes very rarely, you know. Yeah, but that's what I think.
Yeah, I also agree with you.
Yeah, as in like every relationship is different, but then when we use another person's relationship to define our own, I think that it can cause a lot of problems.
Yeah, agreed.
Actually, like, you know how the youths these days, they're also like worried how, like, okay, since I'm not living all this Hollywood fantasy and like all these types of fantasies that we have, and like what you said, the media portrays to us, there's nothing to feel sad about, honestly, because personally, maybe using me as an example, I am 20 and I've never met the one at all. I have never had any of these situations happen to me, and then I'm still living an amazing life, being a child of God, living my life through God, listening to His word, building my relationship with God, especially, you know. And that it's not a matter of living life to wait for, or like to specifically get that experience with that one, to experience that fantasy. It's actually living life for your, like, with as God plans out for you, you know, like your
Yeah, I totally agree with that point of view. I mean, if you're always thinking about, you know, just talking about somebody, you know, it's like rubbing off whatever you can actually enjoy right now in the present, right? I mean, there are so many things you can do, or at this stage where God has placed you in your life, right? There's so many things you can learn or you can experience, right? Why want to be so tied up, you know, into one part of your life you think it may be, right? Yeah.
That is all for our chat room talk about D1. We hope that it was very insightful, that you guys managed to learn something from it and then strengthen your relationship with God from it. So from here, we will end the chat room. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Yay.